Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Turnpike Music Garage, a show that gets under the hood of live music. And today we're going to try to figure out what's happening with the live local music scene. We think it's kind of fading off, and I brought in some guests today to help explore that. Brian Karp from the band Letters to Cleo, formerly of the band Letters to Cleo, studio musician and a good friend of mine. And Maria Manes, Mindz-I Entertainment, who's pretty much got her pulse on the scene locally. And Billy Spencer of Local Rock Gods. So I'm going to throw this question out right now. My impression of the local music scene, a lot of venues have closed down. There's a lot of venues that don't support live music, or when they do, they're looking for the same cookie-cutter thing and paying as cheap a price as they can. Being in a band myself, I'm out dealing with this all the time. So give me an idea of what you're seeing out there. You're seeing it in New York, right?
Well, I see it in New York and pretty much around the country on tour. But there's two factors involved. One is, what type of music are you going to see? Are you going to see cover bands, which is something that we've talked about in the past, or are you going to see original music? And original music's a little bit of a harder sell because thanks to the digital age, everybody has access to what they know and what they like.
Specifically, yeah, you can pick one song you want.
You can pick one song that you want, and people want what they know. And in areas, especially like as you get more suburban, I think the way people live and stuff like that makes it a little harder for people to want to go and find original music. I mean, everybody's lives are very regulated. Yeah. Everybody, you only have access to what you have on the net. The other fact is the modern digital age.
Yeah.
People just don't go out. Yeah. People sit there and talk online. Yeah.
Do you have a thought on that too, or I mean, you're out there.
I'm out there a lot.
Well, you're out there a lot.
I'm out there every weekend.
Yes.
I think a big part of the problem with the venues is that with the way the economy has changed, people have this, and I use the analogy of the $20 bill. People are going out on the weekends with a $20 bill. And they are going to the clubs. If they're being very specific about what they want to do, they have an idea in mind. Are they going out with their girls and they want to check out a cover band because they want to hang out and party? Are they a true music fan and they want to see some really good original music? So they're going to look for the venues that cater to that. And there's a big difference between the bars that cater to the cover band scene. Tiernan's in Stamford, you'll never see an original band in there because they only do cover bands. Or a place like Acoustic Cafe, which prides itself on original artists. So for me, as far as bookings and promotions is concerned, I really have to separate the two because I do all of it. But people come out with a $20 bill, and if you're charging them $10 at the door, now they're left with $10 to spend at the bar. Whereas if they're going to go see a cover band who it's free to get in, and now they could spend that whole $20 at the bar. Yeah. It makes a big difference. Like that $20 bill is a big part of what's going on in the scene.
One of the things that I did hear when we started investigating this a little bit was that the smoking ban many years ago has sent a lot of people to the exits.
Yeah.
Is that still a big factor, you think? Or
it kind of had the effect like, on with anything that gets killed, trying to come back from it. I mean, what happened was you had this gradual removal of smoking from clubs, so people stopped going to places where they couldn't smoke and were going to places where they could smoke. Now you can't smoke anywhere, and it just never came back to the places where you could.
They're still now at home listening to the music they didn't want to listen to, or they're going out with their $20 bucks.
It's not,
or you're finding them outside during a set.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, because they want to go have a cigarette. So now your club empties out because everybody's outside smoking.
Well, the other thing is, too, people aren't going to spend $10 to go into a club where they have to go outside to smoke.
Right.
Yeah.
From the club owner's point of view, you talk to a lot of club owners. I've talked to them all the time, too. Are they more in hunker down mode? Are they more in, because I talk to them, they say, oh, how many people are you going to bring? And my attitude on that is,
it's a very fine line. And it's being, again, you deal with them all the time, I deal with them all the time. Years ago, it was you brought in a band to entertain your crowd. Your job as a band was to entertain the crowd that was there. Right, it wasn't your job to draw. It wasn't your job to bring the crowd to them. A lot of the problem, again, is what's gone on in the economy, and these venues have lost the ability. The first budget that goes in anybody's business is an advertising marketing budget. So a lot of that is gone, and they can't advertise. They can't do the things that they used to do to draw the people into their venues. So they're now relying on their entertainment to draw. The problem is, especially with cover bands, that most cover bands in a geographic area share the same fan base. and they are all playing within a 5-mile distance of each other.
And they're all playing the same stuff.
Exactly.
Too, yeah.
So now you're splitting 50 people among 5 venues, and everybody gets 5 people.
It's oversaturated.
So as far as the club is concerned, well, we brought you in, but we're not making any money. You're not bringing anybody in. It's not our job to bring them in. It's our job to entertain your people that are there. You as a venue have to meet me halfway. That's one of the biggest problems.
I have
Promotion.
said that to people when I've talked to bar owners. If I bring in 20 people and you're paying me X number of dollars and that 20 people covers half of my cost,
right.
then I've done my job. I've done more than I should.
Right.
And now I want you to bring 100 people. I mean, if I'm going to bring 100 people in and charge them $5 at the door, I'll rent the hall.
Right.
Get a couple of
I'll
kegs.
do it all myself.
But you see,
exactly.
I think you got kind of to the systemic problem with that is if you have 10 clubs, like you said, in a 5-mile zone, and you have 10 bands playing, and they're all playing the same music, what's going to make somebody want to go see one band more than another band anyway? It's all about the venue.
It's about the venue.
Yeah, and like you
Or
said,
I like this venue better. This venue's got this special going on tonight. That's where I'm going.
Or it's the place that has the rep, like whether you go into South Norwalk and there's Black Bear there, or you go down to Stanford and Tiernan's. It's like it doesn't matter who you see there. You're not going there to see the band.
You're going there for the experience of the venue.
I mean, the band can be, as long as the band isn't making you want to, like, run for the doors and cover your ears, it's going to be all the same.
As long as the band isn't playing Metallica in the wrong key.
Yes.
Well, as long as everybody's playing in the same key. We're not in the key of disaster.
Tuning is not a city in China, as you used to say, right? Well, let's take a look at this a little bit further then. How... because one of the things we started talking about is what the club owners want is you to bring people, a following. And it's kind of like a catch-22. How do you build a following if you can't get out and play and attract people to like you if they're not letting you in? You know what I'm saying? So I know you have a thought on that, which I overheard earlier, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But just Treetops. How would a band who's out there playing covers, not necessarily originals, that's a whole other thing.
That's a completely different animal.
See, originals you're expected to have a following.
If you don't have a following,
you're not going
exactly.
You're not
But
going
with covers, there's more ways you can get. You don't have to you don't hit the clubs to build your following. What you do is you do as many outside of the box events as you possibly could, and you'll be known as the band that's fun because I saw them somewhere else. The person who normally doesn't see the band might see you in like the town, the town fair, or playing on the sidewalk event in Main Street or in the park. And it's like all of a sudden the person who normally doesn't go to the club says, you know what, I saw that band once. I heard they're playing at this club.
Right.
Well, I know them, I like them, I feel comfortable with them. I like that place. Let's go there and have a night out. And usually when you're appealing to those people, you're drawing people back in who might have gone to clubs when they were younger, but now let's say they have kids or they're a little older or they have jobs and they don't hit the clubs as much, but they had the opportunity to see you in an environment where it was under their in their environment, and now they were like, I want to get back into.
So you're saying things like even volunteer stuff, like doing
charity
shows
events
and
charities,
charity events are
just get you in front of people who you normally would not see.
Exposure.
Is the way to do it.
Like they say, exposure. You can't pay for enough exposure.
How about like social networking?
Social networking is taken over the music business.
If you're not in it, you're out.
If you are not involved in social media and you're trying to make a name for yourself in this business, then you might as well not even try.
You don't even show up.
Because it really is where the digital world, social media networking, tweeting. Yeah. I remember when I first started the company and I had to set up a Twitter account. And I was like, really? Yeah. I got to tell everybody what I'm doing every minute of the day? Like, this is necessary? But it's you find your middle and like where you're going to go with it. Yeah. But it really is, social media is huge. You think of it this way, as far as advertising is concerned, and you're a business owner, advertising is expensive. And thankfully we're not in that print media era anymore where the newspapers have you where they want you to get you to advertise.
And
social
there's also
networking,
lag time too with print.
Yes.
It's a huge
social
lag
networking
time,
is real time and it's free. It's free advertising to
also
huge
like
networks of people.
Sorry.
No, you're going to chime in now.
Yeah, I'd like to interject that one of the things that bands don't do a lot of is when you're at a venue, they don't friend you a lot. They're not engaging sometimes in real life. So you have people that don't, shake your hand, don't take your picture, don't want to friend you, and that's how you build a following. Right. It's basically, I'm going to embrace you, and you're going to become my fan.
Well, you see, once again, it's a little different in the cover band
than the original scene.
band, but it doesn't have to be that different. I mean, one of the things that way back when in the day was when the internet was a new thing. When I was in Cleo and we were on tour, all it takes is that one so-called super fan. And in that network, they start emailing their friends who are at different colleges or whatnot, and they start saying, I caught this band, I love this band, you should check them out. Here, I'm going to send you a link, or I'm going to send you a vid that I shot of them of a song, and it just gets off and running, and you get the right fan, and it could snowball.
It does.
And it really does. I mean, and it doesn't have to matter what genre of music. If somebody has a really great time seeing you, and
it's about the experience.
It's about the experience. And if they recommend you, they're like, listen, I know they play the same, for a cover band. I know they play the same 85% of the same songs that you hear every cover band, but these guys are really good and they're fun.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to hear.
Well, from a performance point of view, is that more of it too? I mean, I know personally when I'm performing and I'm having fun, the crowd just infuses them.
Yeah. I mean, there's a rule that, doesn't matter, 5 people or 500, you got to give it.
It's the Joe DiMaggio rule,
Yeah.
I think the more you have fun up on the stage, regardless of who's in the crowd, the people that are in the crowd are going to feed off you. You're going to feed off them. It's an energy thing, and it goes back and forth. And again, the cover scene is I don't want to say it's an easier sell, but you're playing music that everybody already knows, so it's an easier sell on that stage as opposed to an original band who is. They have their original music, and people don't know this music, and it's a harder sell. It's definitely the harder road traveled. You have a couple of people who do it really, really well, and those people will roll with 80 or 100 people. I have no problems booking them because the venues know when we walk through the door. Full Blast Movement is a prime example. You've been to those shows.
Yeah, they're good.
When we set up those shows and we walk through the door, we're rolling with 80 people, minimum of an 80 people, and that's for an original scene. But because they promote. These guys are out in the street. They're talking to people. They're working social networking. They're talking to their friends. Their friends are talking to their friends, are talking to their friends. And that's the big thing. The big thing is open your mouth and talk about your show.
Yep. And the whole band is involved doing it.
Everyone is involved.
Every person is involved.
Everyone is involved. Yeah. I'm involved on a higher level as far as sending out, if it's something big and we're bringing in a headliner, sending out press releases, talking to media to come and, take some pictures and inviting people and things like that. So it's a big thing.
So let me see if I can just kind of bring all this into focus here. So if we're talking about from a cover band point of view, local scene, they should be approaching owners with, this is what we're going to do, be more realistic about the expectations for owners, club owners and club managers?
I think you need to finally find the middle between the cover bands and the venue owners.
So in terms of setting expectations, and you've got to do your own work to get your people in? Okay.
You also have to know your region, too.
Right, the demographic.
Yeah, you have to know. I mean, I do some cover bands on the side to fill in for stuff.
Yes, we know.
And this one cover band I play out with in New Jersey is with a singer named Jake Steigers, and who's Curtis Steiger's younger brother. Right. And we go out and we play pretty much anywhere from the George Washington Bridge area on into deeper New Jersey. And in that region, we're not playing really the top 40 of today or pop. We're doing some, maybe some more current tunes, but we're playing Stones, Zeppelin, Beatles, and we're not even doing mainstream tunes. We're doing the deep album cuts, and the clubs want us for that. Yeah. Because we're not giving you what everybody else is giving you. Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to thank you guys for being here today.
Thank
Maria
you.
Manes from Mindz-I Entertainment, Brian Karp, studio bass player and quite knowledgeable, Billy Spencer from Local Rock Gods TV, and I am Don Smith, looking at that camera.